Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris prepares to speak in Madison for a campaign rally. We are live with the latest on tonight's event.
Plus, Madison is no stranger to political rallies. We take a look at the city's history with them during campaign season.
And later, the Wisconsin Supreme Court steps in to handle the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ballot case. This as he tries to get his name off the ballot. Welcome to News 3 now at 6. Well, good evening, everyone. We begin with Vice President Kamala Harris visiting Madison for a campaign rally tonight. The presidential candidate is expected to speak at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum within the next half hour.
And this is Vice President Harris's 9th stop in Wisconsin this year. Our News 3 Now team has been out in field covering the vice president's visit all day. Let's start with Eric Franke, who's live inside the Coliseum where Harris is set to speak very soon. Eric, what's the atmosphere like in there?
Well, as you can just tell, it's a party-like atmosphere here at the Dane County Coliseum, the Alliant Energy Center. As you mentioned, the vice president expected to speak at 6:30 tonight, and we are awaiting her arrival right now. The doors opened at 2 o'clock, and really the crowd has been steadily pouring in ever since. It's already been a busy 24 hours for Kamala Harris with an event with Oprah Winfrey last night in suburban Detroit. Then the vice president was down in Georgia earlier this afternoon. She arrived in Madison about 45 minutes ago at Dane County Regional Airport. And earlier, while in Atlanta, the focus of her speech once again was on abortion rights. You know, Madison has always been a very good spot for big crowds for Democratic candidates, most recently for Barack Obama and John Kerry back in 2004. Unlike Hillary Clinton, who basically neglected the Badger State in 2016, the Harris campaign is certainly taking nothing for granted, really trying to pad their lead here in Dane County. And Maddie Himes will have more on earlier visits from presidential candidates in just a few minutes. Well, Vice President Harris, of course, isn't the only person speaking here at the Coliseum tonight. For more on that, let's go to Jalen Banks, who joins us now live. Jalen?
Eric, as you just mentioned, Vice President Harris not the only one speaking here inside the center. Plethora of Wisconsin speakers. Kicking off tonight was Wisconsin Democratic Chairman Ben Winkler. He emphasized the importance of Wisconsin, not just in this election, but all elections, saying that of the last 6 presidential elections, Wisconsin has been decided by less than a percentage point. He also talked about some of the other races further down the ballot outside of the presidential election, speaking about Senator Tammy Baldwin's race against Republican challenger Eric Hovde. New polling shows that in Wisconsin, Baldwin has a 51% to 48% lead in Eric Hovde. Also speaking tonight was Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers. He talked about Project 2025. He also talked about some of Eric Hovde's connections to California and just other Wisconsin speakers. Mayor Sachi Rhodes Conway of Madison speaking as well, and others. But yeah, Wisconsin well represented here this evening as people anticipate Vice President Harris speaking here shortly. But thousands of people here tonight. Our very own Braden Ross joins me now. She was able to catch up with a lot of people here in anticipation for Vice President Harris speaking. What have you heard so far?
Well, I want to point out what I'm seeing in the crowd of the people that we're out talking to. I want to point out the things we're seeing. We're seeing Badgers for Harris signs. We're seeing, if I look out, I see a few bright green shirts that say Kamala is Brat. You'll remember that's a reference to the Charlie XCX album Brat and the whole Brat summer meme that's gone along with Kamala Harris. And of course, a lot of that is indicative of this push for younger voters. But of course, reaching those young voters is an important part of this election. Brat summer memes, visits to college towns and swing states like this one here in Wisconsin are the one way this campaign is trying to reach those voters. And according to the voters that I talked to here, it's working.
Over the last, couple months before Kamala stepped up, there was not a lot to be excited about in this election. And I think it's just a great representation of there's so much to be excited about and so much to rally around. So yeah, Kamala is Brat.
And on a more serious note, I asked these voters what they wanted to hear Harris speak about here tonight. Some of the top answers I got from these younger voters were reproductive rights, gun violence, climate change. Of course, we'll see if those are things that are brought up here at this speech and things that Vice President Harris talks about in this speech. We actually just saw this is the president of, I believe, the local Teamsters Union coming out, so I'll send it back to you, Eric, now.
right, Braden and Jalen, thank you. Our next speaker here is the head of the state Teamsters here. This was a big story this week, and that the national Teamsters wasn't endorsing in this election, but it is important to note the Wisconsin Teamsters is endorsing Kamala Harris for president. Evidence here by the head of the Wisconsin local Teamsters 39 in Milwaukee speaking right now. We also want to mention the state GOP party reacting to the visit by Kamala Harris to Madison today. Here's what state party GOP chair Brian Schimming had to say about this visit.
Kamala Harris doesn't get back to the White House unless she wins Wisconsin, and she needs a big turnout. She has to go to her base of voters, not where independent voters live, because frankly, she doesn't want to answer questions from independent voters. She'd rather come somewhere where it's completely safe for her politically.
Now, Democratic presidential candidates have traditionally brought very large crowds, as we mentioned earlier, to rallies here in Madison. And our Maddie Himes was live at Dane County Regional Airport as the vice president touched down 45 minutes ago. She joins us now with a look back at some of the memorable political moments here in Madison. Maddie?
Yeah, Eric, like you said, the vice president just landing here just a bit ago, and we decided to take a look back into some other campaign stops here in Madison throughout different election cycles. Those candidates who have touched down right here in Madison, like Harris is tonight, to connect with the Madison crowd.
So Madison, you ready to make it happen?
In October of 2004, John Kerry gave his stump speech to an estimated crowd of 80,000 on West Washington.
John Kerry took the stage with a new energy not seen in past Wisconsin visits.
Barack Obama, both as a candidate and president, took to Madison as well, on one occasion visiting Bascom Hill and the other hosting an 18,000-person crowd in front of the city-county building.
For many candidates, they see Madison as this focal point for Democratic politics.
And at the Alliance building itself, Bernie Sanders took to the Coliseum of 10,000 during his campaign for the 2016 presidential race. When it comes to Democratic candidates,
it's not about necessarily thinking that there are undecided voters or a large swath of undecided voters in Madison, but it really is an opportunity to remind the base that they are seen, that they are valued, and that their votes matter.
UW-Madison Associate Professor Allison Prash says that's what gives Madison rallies a distinctive purpose.
For Kamala Harris and her campaign, coming here is less about winning those votes, but really to galvanize enthusiasm for her campaign.
And that strategy, not new to the capital city stump.
In Wisconsin, that's why I need your vote. And if you're willing to work with me again and knock on some doors with me, make some phone calls for me, turn out for me.
Prash says Republican candidates are faced with pressure when they come to Madison.
If you're talking about, Republicans more broadly, it would probably be in an attempt to make arguments about specific policies that, if possible, can kind of transcend any, political divide, whether Republican or Democrat.
But for Democratic stops, it's always been more about passion than persuasion.
I'll tell you what, if he wins.
So as we look back at those previous stump speeches right here in Madison, we'll check out how Harris compares tonight as she speaks directly with Wisconsin voters. For more on that, I'll go right back to you, Eric. For now, reporting live outside Dane County Regional Airport, Maddie Himes, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. Dane County Coliseum seats 10,231. It is very difficult to even find a single empty seat in this place. It is very loud as the Teamsters president continues to address the crowd. Kamala Harris set to go at 6:30 here. In fact, here she comes right now. Let's go back. You can join this live on our streaming platforms.
some Madison cred, right? Oh, thank you all. It really is great to be back. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And can we please thank Bill for fighting every day for the working people of America. And to everyone at Teamsters Joint Council 39, I am so honored and grateful for your endorsement. I will work so closely with you as we always have, and we will win. And we will win. And we will win. And it's so great to be with all of the leaders who are here. This is an auditorium full of leaders, including our dear friend and your governor, Tony Evers. Senator Tammy Baldwin, who you will re-elect to the United States Senate. Representative Pocan.
And that is Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic presidential nominee, taking the stage at the Alliant Energy Center. Of course, the economy and working class voters are, both campaigns are trying to appeal to those. We saw the local Teamsters Union have a representation there today.
Yes, and a big endorsement for her in the state of Wisconsin, given that, as you know, Eric and others have said, the National Teamsters Union did not endorse either candidate.
Yeah. Well, you can continue to watch this speech on channel3000.com and our streaming app, Channel 3000 Plus. You can see the whole speech there, and we will continue to have coverage as this event continues. And we will be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years. Highest gas prices ever. Skyrocketing interest rates. Unaffordable housing. Incomes down. Unemployment rising. And a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Ready to make over your home? Now's the best time during Steinhaffel's Buy More, Save More sale. Save $100 when you spend $19.99 or more, $250 on purchases of $39.99 or more, and $350 when you spend $49.99 or more. Steinhaffel's has the largest selection of all the newest styles ready for your home. Make your dream space a reality with Steinhaffel's special 60-month financing. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
This ad is a complete lie. The truth is, Tammy Baldwin's never shared inside information with her partner. And Tammy Baldwin's leading the fight to ban senators from purchasing any individual stocks. It's Eric Hovde, who owns a $3 billion California bank. And Hovde's bank takes millions from unknown foreign interests, meaning we'd have no idea who Eric Hovde would really be working for. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
It all comes down to the final drive. News 3 Now brings you the big play highlights and scores from Southern Wisconsin high school football action. Don't miss the final drive, Fridays on News 3 Now at 10. You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
To an update on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s status on the Wisconsin ballot, the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled on whether he should remain on the ballot for the November election. The court granted a petition from the Wisconsin Elections Commission today to bypass the Court of Appeals in the case. The motion for oral arguments has been denied. The court said it would, quote, endeavor to issue a written decision as expeditiously as possible. And to continuing coverage of the former UW lacrosse chancellor fighting to keep his tenure.
Right now, the Board of Regents is considering whether to terminate Joe Gao from his position. Last year, Gao was removed from his role as chancellor after it was discovered he was making pornographic videos with his wife online. He's been on paid leave from his faculty position ever since. Today, Gao and his attorney made one final push for the former chancellor to keep his teaching role. We also heard from the university. Take a listen.
We don't need the First Amendment to protect the Star-Spangled Banner. We don't need the First Amendment to protect easy and comforting speech. It's exactly the opposite. We need the First Amendment precisely when the danger of stifling controversial, unpopular speech is at its highest, and that's what we have here in this situation.
Particularly for someone who previously served as chancellor, Dr. Gao's behavior has been unethical, hypocritical, and unacceptable.
We'll keep you updated when we have a decision from the board. Still ahead at 6, the Coats for Kids campaign gets a nice bump in donations. We'll take a look at the latest numbers.
Plus, a warning for parents with young children why a specific brand of baby powder is now being recalled. And the sun returns heading into the weekend. Alex has the complete forecast right after the break.
Four years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. DuraClean Exterior is a paint and primer in one that's formulated to resist dirt, weather, and fading. A gallon starts at $34.48 after rebate. Maximize your curb appeal with Max Bond Plus Exterior Paint. It provides max adhesion, height, and performance with over 800 one-coat colors. A gallon starts at $47.87 after 11% rebate. Don't forget to check out Dutch Boy's Color of the Year, Mapped Blue.
Save big money at Menards.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
I want to turn to the issue of abortion.
For 52 years, they've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it.
I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, here is a live look inside the Coliseum. Vice President Kamala Harris is speaking to a crowd at her rally. Let's listen in.
To buy her first home. I know what that dream is like. I know what it is like for people to work hard and to save up and have a dream that is about the dignity of their work and an investment in their future, the future of their family, an investment in the pride they so rightly deserve because of their hard work. But right now in the the affordable housing issue, look, we have a shortage of housing in America, and it's contributing to driving up prices. So with my plan, we are going to cut red tape and work with the private sector to build 3 million new homes by the end of my first term.
Well, again, you can watch Vice President Kamala Harris's speech in its entirety on channel3000.com and on Channel 3000 Plus.
And good news for drivers, gas prices could continue to drop. AAA says the national average for a gallon of gas dipped 2 cents last week to $3.22. Right now, the average in Wisconsin is lower at $3.03. While it's still a decline, it's much slower than in recent weeks. Hurricane Francine caused temporary issues for oil production and refining on the Gulf Coast. AAA says it is not uncommon for a slump during hurricane season, but the organization expects prices at the pump to continue to drop.
Now listen up, parents. There's a major recall concerning a certain brand of baby powder. The FDA says Dynarex is recalling its Dynacare baby powder due to the possible risk of asbestos. The powder went out to 12 states, including Wisconsin, and was sold on Amazon. The bottles to look out for have an item number of 4875. And now if you see that on your bottle, you should throw it away or you can return it. The Coats for Kids campaign is inching closer to 1,000 donations. Thank you, everyone. News 3 Now is teaming up with Clinky Cleaners, the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County, and Magic 98 to try and collect 5,000 coats.
It's a big goal, and so far the campaign has already collected 911, so we still have a long way to go. If you would like to donate, you have until October 5th. Just take any new or gently used coats, hats, mittens, snow pants, and other winter outerwear to any area Clinky Cleaners. There, they'll offer to take it off your hands and clean it for free. If you don't have a winter coat, you can help by buying a coat off the Coats for Kids Amazon wish list. You can find a link to it on channel3000.com/Coats for Kids. No need for winter coats today.
No.
Sunshine started the weekend, but they might need raincoats later on, Alex.
Yes, indeed. Sunshine and warm temperatures, that's going to be the story for Saturday behind the water that we just had last night. It was a loud night across much of southern Wisconsin, and coats are probably not the first thing on your mind when we're expecting temperatures up near 90 degrees after this rain that we had. But we absolutely appreciate those donations. Planning the rest of your evening, a warm evening where you're not going to need that jacket quite yet. 77, eventually we'll work our way down to about 70 when you join me again for our 10 o'clock newscast. Just a reminder, 68 at 10 o'clock, that's our normal high temperature for this time of year, or pretty close. 87, that's our high for Saturday. 90 in Janesville. This heat that builds on Saturday will be part of the fuel for thunderstorms that will move in from the north and from the west during the late afternoon hours and going into the evening hours. Look at this, future track lining up from the Dells over to Viroqua, Richland Center by 6 o'clock. Blaze will be here tomorrow evening. If any one of these storms do happen to get a little bit on the revved up side, one or two could be strong as those storms move towards Madison and Mineral Point by 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then they press off towards the south and east, areas over towards Jefferson, Elkhorn, Janesville, and Beloit. That line then pushes off into Lake Michigan and to the south. That's round number one. We have more rain in the forecast as well, but not before mentioning one or two of those storms could be on the strong side. Gusty winds, hail would be the main threat. Here comes round number two on Sunday, especially for areas Wisconsin, River Valley, and points towards the south. To the north, this round may not make it, at least the heavier rain, very far north into southern Wisconsin. It looks like this round of rain is likely going to eye up, let's say, Wisconsin, River Valley, Madison, I-94 points to the south, ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch out of that weather system Sunday going on into Monday. Sunday's high 69, start of fall, that's normal. That's where we should be for this time of year. And those temperatures warm right back up behind that showery Sunday going on into Monday. Just slight chances for rain throughout the rest of this week as we see those summer-like temperatures creep right back in to the forecast. We'll return shortly.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Make your tailgate tail great at Hy-Vee. Lay's kettle cooked or rolled gold, $1.99. Bacon wrapped sirloins, $2.99. And strawberries, just $1.99. Save in-store and online. Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory. Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
This shouldn't take too long, should it?
Oh, no. I'll have the unit up and running in a jiffy. Oh, sorry. I have to go to the shop and get another part. Sorry, I don't have that part either. Sorry, I don't have that part either.
But you said it would be quick.
At Cardinal, we respect your time as much as you do. That's why our technicians come prepared with fully stocked trucks, ready to handle most issues in just one visit. Discover the difference. Call Cardinal.
Gas, groceries, school supplies, everything costs more. Eggs are almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. Biden, Harris, and the Democrats keep telling us things are better. They aren't better. And Tammy Baldwin is making it worse, raising taxes, running up debt, voting for spending that's driving inflation. 25 years in Washington and she's done nothing. It's time for a change.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Rewards Club members at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison can get a ticket for a promotional drawing by visiting the Rewards Club booth. Promotional drawings can be either physical or virtual tickets. Physical tickets will be placed in a drawing barrel, while virtual tickets can be redeemed at a promotional kiosk. Visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison and grab your tickets at the Rewards Club booth today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Who is she talking to?
COVID-19 cases are on the rise. Get the updated COVID-19 vaccine at Hy-Vee. Schedule online today or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Plus, get your flu shot and earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Only at Hy-Vee.
And it's week 4 of the high school football season, and that means the final drive is back tonight at 10. Andrew Banster will have highlights from a handful of games happening around the area.
And coming up in a few minutes, it's this week's Wisconsin Huddle. Former Badger volleyball player and national champion Lauren Barnes stops by to talk about all things Wisconsin volleyball. Let's volley it over to Alex Harrington.
Oh, don't catch it.
Bump set spike.
Yeah.
It's a tale of 2 rounds of showers and thunderstorms this weekend, but not before temperatures near 90 degrees. Can you believe that? Where it's fall is on Sunday and it's 90 on Saturday. Nighttime storms, some of those could be on the stronger side. Widespread showers and a few thunderstorms on Sunday, especially for Madison and areas to the south and east. And we need the raindrops. We got a little bit last night. We'll get some more this weekend.
We need it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
We'll see you again at 10.